The author Bella Jenkins. The other book she's written is Josephine, and the plot is basically it's black and during slavery, and basically Belle escapes from the south to the north, and she goes to Michigan, and she meets this family here named the Best, and she just moves in with them, and in the process of adapting to the society of the north, she ends up falling in love with their son named Daniel. The main character of the story is, I would say it's Belle, Daniel, and Josephine, which is Daniel's sister, and Cecilia Best, which is the mother. The most interesting character would be, I would say, is Miss Best, the mother, because she basically helps Belle go deal with the North and all that offers her and stuff. And she is like very, I guess you would say, motherly. Like, I would say she's a really, really good mother. One of the passages I want to read. That evening, as the Best household prepared for bed, Miss Best stuck her head around Belle's door. Just came to check on you. It seems you and Daniel have sorted everything out. Belle dressed in her nightclothes, was in the process of turning back her sheets. We did, she said. Miss Best looked pleased. Good. Miss Best came farther into the room, saying, you know, I had to face a few Francines myself when I first came north. Did you? Yes, Yes, though none of them were as fast or as mean or as spoiled as this Francine. Belle raised an eyebrow. Fast, Miss Best repeated firmly. Belle vowed to ask Jojo about that later. Miss Best then asked pointedly, can you read, Belle? Belle dropped her head and slowly shook her head. No, ma'am. And since I'm already 16, I figure I'm too old to learn. I don't really need reading to suit anyway. Mastering the written word is essential, Belle, no matter your age. Belle searched her face. You think so? I know so. You can't best the French scenes of the world without it. Belle mulled that over for a moment. Is learning how to read hard? In some ways, yes. Other ways, no. Belle thought on the idea some more. Did she really need to learn to read? Miss Best certainly seemed to think so. It was easy to see the benefits of an education. The members of the Best family were the smartest people she knew, but Belle wasn't sure book learning was for her. Would I have to go someplace and learn with little children? No, dear. I'm sure we could work it out so you could be tutored here at home. No one wants you to be embarrassed in any way. Belle found that encouraging. Do I have to make my decision right now? Miss Best smiled kindly. No, when you're ready, just let someone know. All right. Basically, that is about Belle was a slave, and most slaves didn't know how to read. And coming to the North and facing mean people like Francine the Queen, which is Daniel's intended, you would have to know how to read, dealing with people like that. Francine is Daniel's intended, and intended meaning back then was the person you're supposed to marry. And Francine saw Daniel and Belle hugging or whatever because her father, Belle's father, on the escape to the north, got lost in the process, and he was transported back down south. And another passage, Francine and her entourage arrived late that afternoon. Belle didn't pay much attention because she and Miss Best were too busy attending to the needs of the guests. Belle did garner a particularly haughty stare from the Queen, though, but ignored it. Belle was in the kitchen taking some of her famous biscuits out of the oven when Jojo and her friend Trudy Carr came in. Jojo announced sarcastically, "The Queen's here." Belle set the hot pan on the counter. I know, she sneered at me when I walked by. Trudy added, Mr. Hood just arrived too. Belle began buttering the hot pieces of bread. There was so much to do, she didn't have time to be a part of any gossip. Joe, will you take these out and set them on the table? Trudy grabbed that pot of jam. Sure, Belle. Belle turned to hand Joe the tray, but paused upon seeing Francine and a few of her friends coming in the kitchen's back door. Francine, dressed all in green today, trilled, Belle, be a dear and find me some thread. I snagged my hem. Belle gave Joe the tray. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Trudy. The girls exited. Belle then turned to Francine. I don't have time, Francine. I've got 100 things that I need to do. This is important, and so are these strawberries. The church reverend had brought over a basket full of the plump red berries. They needed washing and hung before they could be enjoyed by the guests. Belle grabbed up the basket and headed to the door to take them to the pump, only to have Francine grab her by the arm. Did you hear me? Francine asked, as if she were mistress and Belle was her slave. Belle slowly looked down at the hand on her arm, then up to Francine's eyes. Remove your hand. You will get me some thread. Belle snatched free. You will get out of my way. Who do you think you are? I could ask you the same thing. Well, I'm your better, you ignorant little runaway. I'll bet you can't even read the word strawberry. That hurt. You might be right, Francine. Now move away before I show you just how ignorant I am. Belle could see JoJo standing on the porch. Belle was sure she heard every word. Francine had a nasty little smile on her face as she told her friends. She actually thinks Daniel likes her, as if he preferred a literate slave girl over me. Belle forced her way past Francine and out the door. JoJo stepped forward, but Belle, her eyes thick with fierce, unshed tears, didn't slow. Excuse me, Joe, I have to wash these berries. The laughter of Francine and her girlfriends burned her back as she fled. Under the pretense of allowing Miss Bess to enjoy the party, Belle spent the rest of the afternoon and the early evening managing the kitchen, but as darkness fell, she slipped out for some solitude behind the barn. There were a few folks still celebrating, but she doubted they'd missed her presence. She deposedly plopped down on the log bench Daniel and his father used for their work breaks. Alone for the first time since her confrontation with Francine, Belle let the tears fall. She was angry, hurt, and for the first time since coming to live here, ashamed of her past. Francine was right. She couldn't read the word strawberry, or even her own name for that matter. She now understood what Miss Bess had been trying to explain. The Francines of the world were unkind, and being uneducated gave them only one more stick to help build their fires. Basically, this passage, she just realizes having an education is important, even if you are like really good at swimming, which she is. And she later that night she asked Daniel to start helping her learn how to read. I would recommend this book to other people because it really is a good book, and it teaches you to overcome all the trials and tribulations that may be handed to you, because in the end you can succeed in life. I like this book for that fact, basically. And in the end, even though Francine was like really mean to her and all of that, she ended up getting Daniel because Daniel liked her more than Francine, who was just a spoiled brat. The age, I would say, for this book is like, I would say from 7th grade up. Even it doesn't have like a lot of cussing and stuff in it, but some of the stuff, like Francine ends up getting pregnant, and some of the words it has in here are a little too inappropriate for like elementary school kids. And the lesson that we could learn from the story is to just basically overcome life, like the hardships that you experience in life, and just be who you truly are.